touched a drop of liquor or anything else since his death. And I changed my focus on how I was going to accomplish this. And I knew that we could make it large scale. And our first release off of his death it almost took a year to get it out, but we hit 21 on the iTunes rock charts. It was one of those things that kind of changed my status as an artist. And here we are today. My goal is to write laws in Congress. My goal is to one day on my mantle have a Nobel Peace Prize. It's not to be a rich, famous musician, so I've stuck to mission and along the way taken every bit of time that I can to individually help veterans that come to me with problems.
It's unreal, the progress that you've made. We're talking to John Preston, who has right now, I'm looking at the DRT, John. Before I'm Gone is ranked higher than Foo Fighters, 30 Seconds to Mars, and these are rock songs that came out, fairly recently from them. It blows my mind that we can say that and not only is Before I Am Gone rising up these charts, but you and Concore Entertainment are having the sales, which I believe is going to be released soon, donated to support charities that stop soldier suicides, right?
Yeah, so everything is coming in to me, and I take 50% of all the sales. All that's coming to me is going to stop soldier suicide. I've done that. I mean, that's a traditional thing with me. I've always donated the money that I make. Because I work as a firefighter, I've been able to float and handle both music and that, and I pick up overtime when I have to pay for projects like the video and stuff like that. But to me, sales isn't something that, that's all of us. We all deserve that. The people that are buying and supporting, they need to know that they're giving to something, not just taking. I don't like artists that think that what they make is their gift. I'm really against that concept of I'm blessed and you get to hear my music. I don't know. I think that's weird. But so I want to give back more than just my music. And we're doing that with donating to Stop Soldier Suicide. I haven't looked at the numbers on that. I don't know what we've brought in. I know we had a good run with sales. We charted a single. I've never done that before on iTunes. So that means we've sold, on week one, we probably sold 10,000 units, So when that gets to a good amount, we'll take that and donate that. But then forever, as long as this album sells, my money is always going to them. So it's just how I am, who I am, what I'll probably do every single album going forward. And for me, if you listen to the music, and we can talk about the music because you brought it up, it's a memoir of my life, and the most impactful moments are usually what I'm writing about. So these stories, these Superman Falls that we released before I'm Gone, that was my brother's suicide, and that's telling the world, look at what this does to you, And then Before I'm Gone was actually I wrote in 2014, and it was my own personal suicide note, and I wanted people to, understand and interpret that, and then see where I am today, and see at some point in my life, I thought about suicide. I thought about not being here, and I struggled with that for several years when I first got back from Iraq. And I want them to see that, vision that, realize that, and say, look what taking a goal and going after it does for you in life. And you're right. Those charts are so impressive, so impressive. I look at the adult contemporary and I look at the names on that, and it blows my mind. We're 117 in the world right now. Over all genres, and just to know, and we're climbing. We're climbing. I want to be number one. I think we will be number one. We were told by the pluggers, and these are Universal's pluggers. They plug Taylor Swift's album. They plug, Justin Bieber's albums. They do the biggest people in the world. And when they heard the track, they said we have a 1 to 5. So,
oh wow,
that's the goal, is to be number one, and not to be 117, to be number one, and push this mission to the top of the mainstream.
John, I'm so curious. Listen, very powerful story, very powerful words. I'm currently a first sergeant in the Guard, and over the last few years, I mean, the brigade has suffered several suicides that we've been dealing with. The number of, it's nearly once every hour there's a veteran committing suicide somewhere in the United States. And I'm so curious as to when you went through this journey, besides your music, was there any other help available through the VA or the military, or, what was there for you? Because guys often come to me with these problems, and I tell them, like, I'm not if you had a toothache, go to a dentist. Don't come to the first sergeant. If you have a psychological or mental health issue, I'm here to listen, but I want to get them real help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of doing what I've done, and I think you're in a position where you can do it too, is get these resources that, and I first always recommend the VA. The VA is not 100% failure. I've seen it successful. I've seen it successful in my own family. My cousin, went through the VA's program and is doing great. But it's creating a list of resources behind you that when you do have someone come to you with an issue, you have somewhere to send them. Like, if I picked up the phone and I called Stop Soldier Suicide today, they would have a full packet ready to go on whatever veteran I sent to them within the week. And they pick their specific needs and they do everything to help them. And it was creating partnerships over the years that I can do that. Even people with issues with their home, I work for Adaptive Ed as well. There's so many different outlets, and what we don't realize is us going through it, us that in our head, one, that it's okay because there's a lot of us going through it, and we feel like we're alone. So the first step is to, hopefully see someone like me that's out speaking about it public and go, okay, I can talk about this. And then the moment that you talk about it, realize that no matter what area you live in the country, there's a nonprofit somewhere close that can help you. And finding that, and then creating your own life mission. When we're in, our mission is, we are given a mission and we accomplish it, and we accomplish it well. What we have to learn when we transition out is we have to create that mission now. And it doesn't have to be a rock star, the biggest star on earth. It can be to accomplish whatever you feel is the best thing for you in life. And that just takes the drive, that takes ambition that we already have ingrained into us, that we've already been taught to live like, and moving forward with it, getting out of the past, leave the past back there. I look in the rear view to see, to remind me why I'm going forward, but that's all I do.
It's also probably a great way to reflect back on how far you've come. I kind of see this as a halfway point for you, John. This is like the turning point. It feels like from here, the rock is going to be attached to your back, and you're shooting to the moon and beyond, man. I'm so, we've had conversations off air, and man, just to watch this journey of yours, it's humbling. It truly is, and it drives Russ and I to do what we're doing, and trying to bring awareness. We gotta get you more airplay on the East Coast, though, because I look through the places where you are right now. You're more like South and West Coast. How do we get more airplay for you here on the East Coast, around the People's Republic of New York and such?
So right now that's in Concore's Entertainment hands, and again, Universal Music fans, because that's their pluggers doing the work. That's where the video is right now, and that's just the bars and restaurants section, which was crazy. I thought it was cool because we were in Cincinnati. That's my home, so that was neat. But on that list there, that's bars and restaurants that the video is actually playing in right now. We have something I haven't announced, so guess what? You get the announcement. Our video is going to be playing in Macy's. Our video is going to be playing in Bloomingdale's. Our videos, or our music, because they don't have videos, is in Goodwill. So it's going completely national, and that's in all their locations. Wow. So, and we're looking at, I believe in total we have like 4 or 5 different mass chain fitness centers. So we're looking at 4,000 locations across the country just in fitness centers that'll be playing our video. So the distribution side, that's all on them. We just cut a new deal. We're going to be on Music Choice, which is amazing. That's on almost every TV in the country has the option to see our video. So, and then we're looking at our next step is mainstream radio. Yeah, that's the next step is being on terrestrial radio and actually out to the world. We expect a billboard by March or April. And I think the way that the song is performing in the DRT right now, it's putting everyone behind us because they're going, this kid's doing what he said he was going to do. This song is doing what they said it was going to do. So now I'm in a new world because I've got power now. I have power that I've never had before. And I want to use it to continue to better the cause and the purpose.
That's absolutely amazing. Russ, you get the last question, then we're going to tell everybody, not only is everybody going to be able to listen to the song right after this interview, but we're going to tell everybody how to buy it, how to find it online, and how to follow John and all that he's doing. Go ahead, Russ. You get the last word.
John, I'm so curious about this, and you could give us a political answer if you want, but this is a political show, so I have to ask. With the Super Bowl coming up, two-part question. One, who's your pick? And two, tell me about what you think about them kneeling during the national anthem, please, because we're definitely going to talk about this later on the show as well.
So I personally, I'm picking the Patriots. I got to pick the Pats. Never in our life have we seen a dynasty this good. It doesn't matter if it was the Bulls back when I was a kid or whatever. Tom Brady grew up here in the Bay Area. He went to, Sarah High School. I know a lot of people that went there. I got to get behind them and say, let's solidify being the greatest team ever to play the sport, regardless of whatever asterisks might end up beside that. But I've had this conversation about the anthem so many times, and it's at this point it's disgusting. You had the stage, and I think that from the very beginning it was disrespectful. It's not putting into consideration, but there's a lot of young Americans that don't give a crap about our flag. They don't give a crap about who we are or what we are. They don't have the view of America because they came up in the last 8 years of whatever this has been. They don't realize we've also been fighting more for the longest in American history now at 17 years of solid war. There's people graduating high school this year that have never known an America without war. But at the same time, we don't publicize it. It's not talked about. We don't hear about people dying overseas anymore. We don't hear about the sacrifices given and what's really being done. We only hear the negative of what the war is. This is Vietnam all over as far as how the media and the public has made it seem like it was a terrible thing. There's a monster called ISIS. We are defeating them. There's so much going on that is positive right now, and these war fighters are going out and securing that for us. So I do not agree with kneeling for the anthem. I said this out loud. I've actually just recently friended up with Nate Boyer, and I want to talk to him more and see if he and I can do something together to not counteract it or do anything against it, but start our own movement. And they got the stage. So what are you going to do now that you have the stage? And that's my question. That's all I have, is I know what I'm doing. I know why I want the stage that I'm going to get. I know why I want to be number one in the world, because I'm going to write laws in Congress. I'm going to change the perspective of the American veteran. I'm doing all that. What are you doing by kneeling? Because now you have the attention of the world over and over and over again, whether unhappy or happy, you have the attention of the world. Make a difference with it. Make change.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think that sounds like a great it sounds like a great backdrop for a song or a music video, man. I don't know.
Absolutely. We're going to play it right now, but before we do, everybody go check out John Preston online. He's on Facebook, John Preston Music, at John Preston USA on Twitter. Also check out at Concore Entertainment on Twitter, at Concore ENT. They're the people that are putting out the music. And I got to also give a plug to Battle Cry, John. I know we're talking about Before I'm